True Justice Deadly Crossing is the Steven Seagal mega blockbuster hit movie where he showed the world the old crappy slappy, now I need a nappy. It starts off like any other Seagal day with donuts and candy, but things take a dark turn.
I'm sorry, we're not open yet.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Now that that's taken care of, he can get back to his high-level detective work.
You're wearing uniform, right?
Yeah.
This is so creepy. How did he know?
I'm undercover here. So the only time uniforms show up here is to transport prisoners. And they'll come in undercover cars.
So she asks, but wouldn't the prisoners know? And he tells her to get the fuck out.
Yes, sir.
The fucking nerve. Anyway, now they're ready for their undercover op.
Everybody good to go?
So they head out.
Let's do this.
And then sit in their cars for a few hours, and then really head out. Which is when they execute Seagal's world-famous get-em technique.
You're under arrest.
But oh shit! Him running away isn't something they could have ever seen coming, and they're caught completely off guard. But always the contortionist, Seagal ends it immediately with one of his backward-facing front kicks. Back at the station, they're interrupted by someone finally finding these bodies,
They got an ugly double homicide out by the internment campsite.
which causes Seagal to panic.
That ain't good.
He has to destroy some evidence real quick, and then he'll meet them out there.
I'll catch up with y'all.
And holy shit, these shifts are insane because it's fucking daytime again. But sleeps for pussies and competent writers, and as soon as Seagal walks in, he drops this bombshell.
Whoever did this, knew these people real well.
Why do you say that?
Oh, because mind your fucking business. Then they get a major break in the case.
So we got tire tracks over here.
Matches the mud inside.
Oh my god, the mud outside matches the mud inside. This is so meaningful.
Whoa, what is this?
Knowing Seagal, probably a love interest. Luckily, Seagal's destroyed enough children's lives to recognize she's crying in Mandarin.
Give me a Mandarin translator right now.
But in the meantime, Seagal and some guy are gonna check out a trailer park gang for some reason. And it must be across the state, cause they don't make it there till nighttime. He just wants you guys to know that this is his turf and how things are gonna go down.
I'll pull out my gun and kill y'all.
Nah, but seriously, he will kill you all. And gives him a taste when this guy tries the infamous shoulder slap, which Seagal counters with the "fuck you, now there's a brick" move. Now, if you'll excuse him, he's only halfway through his 72-hour workday and has things to do before he kills you all. But in the meantime, fuck you, here's a snake. Now it's the next day.
Anyone know any of these players?
That white boy in the red shirt, I've seen him before.
Thanks for the description. It's a really crowded picture. And yes, Seagal wrote this,
That might could tell you something.
so expect to hear white boy a lot.
Put this white boy back in the bucket.
Anyway, Seagal's been looking for this guy, which is crazy, cause he just saw him in the last scene. Which is when she finally makes it back after being told to go home and change
Go home, get in some civvies, come on back.
2 fucking days ago. And knock it off, she's not an object, but she is an item.
She's the new item here.
She's in for a rude awakening when she sees just how dark and gritty this job can be.
We don't waste time on little poo butts like that.
Seagal was facing intense pressure to tone down the harsh language,
On little poo butts.
but he sat his ground. And oh yeah, they totally forgot about her, who's been sitting there yelling at nobody
他回来行不行啊？
since yesterday, along with this guy, who's been sitting there even longer. Wake the fuck up, cause it's strip club time. Now this lady thinks she's making the brown sugar deal of a lifetime, but it's not his first rodeo, and this is clearly below 88% sucrose, so she's fucking fucking busted. And that's definitely him. Because all this isn't normal enough, they decide to crank the normal up a notch by having the bouncer sucker punch a cop and then run away. Now that she hasn't eaten, drank, or slept in over 24 hours, she's ready to answer some questions.
我今天看到这个女的了，她就是刚才跟这个，她就是个警察，就在这儿看到的。
Meanwhile, they're not gonna quit until they get their confession.
I'm gay.
He nailed it. So they celebrate things the Seagal way with strippers and dick shots. Afterwards, they have good news and great news.
Wonderful.
The good news is that Seagal's been cleared of that double homicide. The great news is they did it by framing you.
And that kind of strongly leads to a really great shot at the death penalty.
The next day, the reality of what Seagal did suddenly hits him, and now he has to make it right. Oh, thank God, that was a close one. Which sets off a violence binge that lasts into the night when he carjacks this poor citizen. And it doesn't stop until he gets so winded and delirious by the savage beating, he tries to handcuff him with his badge. And another spot-on picture. Now we're 50 minutes in, so we might as well meet the villain. The other villain who hasn't been seen or mentioned before. He's basically Vanilla Ice.
You have a problem, I take care of it.
With a very subtle Russian accent.
Sometimes blood must be spilled.
Meanwhile, Seagal's having a rare moment of self-reflection.
You start seeing crap like this, it's like you just lose your faith in mankind, man.
And they're not even done filming it.
Seeing something like that changes you.
You say that again.
Seeing something like that changes you.
Which is true, his movies will wreck your life.
I got a feeling there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a shitload which will never make any sense.
That's horrific.
That's interrupted by a woman who's desperate to bang Seagal, which happens 4 to 5 times a shift.
That's very nice of you.
But he's got a lot of things planned for today,
Murders and kidnappings and narco trafficking.
and he doesn't know if he'll have time.
Is that the scent of jealousy I'm detecting?
Of course it is. She's only human, and he's the hottie of potty. Now they're undercover to get the pretending to be a real Russian guy. Again, the other one. But getting his attention is gonna take something crazy, like just walking in, so of course he comes running immediately.
May I?
But they slip up,
What nuts.
and now he's onto them.
You two are cops.
Oh shit! I know they were just sitting there, minding their own business, and you came up to them. But still, it's basically entrapment, and you were right to be suspicious. So they go with plan B, which involves bringing inferior numbers while being super covert by staring at them from like 30 feet away, and then turn their siren on for some fucking reason, and oh my god, they're found out. Someone must have tipped them off. But it doesn't matter because they know funneling themselves through this doorway would be the dumbest shit ever, which is why they won't see it coming. And Seagal would love to help, but not really. Plus, he had a big lunch, so he's gonna help from the car. Things are going great until this sick son of a bitch not only changes suits mid-sprint, but he makes Seagal stand. So after some very responsible shooting, he tries to surrender, but Seagal's not having any of it. So after brutally torturing and murdering this guy, who it turns out was the wrong guy anyway, they go back to celebrate.
Not a bad resolution, Chief.
See, my daddy used to hit a piece of corn once in a while.
So they just go with that, because asking questions will just make this take longer, and also they don't fucking care.
All right, everybody happy?
Fuck you, you know they're not.
Cool.
Neither is the audience, so fuck you to them too. Because this woman violently needs to bang Seagal.
What, you were trying?
But she's up next, and there's not enough of the human corn dog to go around.
The man is unbelievable.
He means that literally everything about him is bullshit.